For generations, women have been encouraged to exercise with one goal: to become as small as possible. It was always about maintaining a figure, slimming down, burning calories, and targeting problem areas. This toxic culture has had many consequences, contributing to low muscle mass and bone density, loss of independence as we age, diet culture and eating disorders, unnecessary and sometimes dangerous supplements, low self-esteem and mental health struggles, wasted money on programs and gadgets, and more. Hi, I'm Morgan, and I created StrongHer Collective to help women stop shrinking themselves physically and mentally and start building real holistic strength. After a lifetime of cardio, strength training with heavy weights in my 30s opened my eyes to new possibilities. When my focus shifted from trying to be as small as possible to becoming as strong as possible, a number of amazing things happened. I felt more confident and less anxious. I felt more at home in my body. I could do the things that I love with more ease: hike stronger, run faster, ski longer. My body composition also changed as I built more muscle. All of my clothes still fit. There's just more muscle underneath them now. My relationship with food transformed. Instead of watching what I ate, I started seeing food as fuel for strength. I learned to take rest days. Rest is when your body actually gets stronger. Here is what to expect from the StrongHer Collective YouTube channel. This channel is about empowering women to exercise to be strong instead of small. I'm a personal trainer, fitness coach, and yoga teacher with a background in research, so everything I share is practical and evidence-based. On the StrongHer Collective podcast, I cover fitness tips, habit and mindset, nutrition, injury insights, and myth busting. If you're ready to leave behind toxic fitness and diet culture, the overtraining, the constant dieting, expensive supplements, and endless programs with no results, this is the place for you. Subscribe and hit the bell notification button so that you never miss a video. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get stronger together.